Welcome everyone, this is Garrett Green Gaming, and today I want to talk about exclusives and if they are dying in the gaming industry. So a couple years ago, Xbox decided to start putting all their games on the PlayStation, and over the last couple years you've seen Xbox slowly bring more and more games over to PlayStation, kind of marking the end of the console war in a sense. Also, recently, last few years, you've had PlayStation bring a lot of their games over to PC. So you've had Xbox bringing games to PlayStation, PlayStation bringing games to PC. Xbox was already putting games on PC. PlayStation still has an exclusive mindset, somewhat at least, and Nintendo is still going full steam ahead with exclusives. But recently, you saw that PlayStation decided to put Helldivers 2 onto Xbox. Now this was a huge moment and a huge blow to exclusives for the future. I mean, you had things like Lego Horizon go to Nintendo. PlayStation put Lego Horizon on Nintendo. You had PlayStation put MLB The Show on Xbox, and Marathon, which is now a PlayStation game because Sony bought Bungie. So that game's going over to Xbox. So you've had some situations where PlayStation was putting games on other consoles already, but those were kind of different decisions because they weren't fully Sony's decision to put those games over there. With Helldivers 2, though, this is fully a Sony decision. Fully their idea to just say, you know what, we're going to put a game on Xbox because we want to. So this kind of marked a huge turning point in my mind in the idea of exclusives on PlayStation. Not only that, it looks like Helldivers is doing a big crossover with Halo, and they're bringing some Halo themed suits and guns or whatnot. That looks like that's coming over. That's coming to Helldivers. There's also been some other rumors about potentially PlayStation putting other games or live service games on the Xbox in the future. Don't know too much about that. I'm not going to speculate on those specific rumors too much. I just kind of want to talk about this in general. But now with Helldivers coming over to Xbox, we have a situation where Gears of War Reloaded, an Xbox game, is coming to PlayStation, and Helldivers 2, a PlayStation game, coming to Xbox on the exact same day. So this is an insane moment kind of in gaming history dealing with exclusives and the console wars. This kind of truly marks the end of the console wars in the sense. Same day. It's crazy how that's happened. But I think the important thing in this situation is to discuss what's going forward. So I kind of want to look at it by looking at the next generation, the PS6 generation. What is that going to look like? So I thought about it, and here's what my mindset is on it. Because you're going to have the PlayStation 6, you're going to have the Nintendo Switch 2, and you're going to have PC. Because the more and more I look at it, Xbox is not going to have a console. They're going to have a PC hybrid box. They're not going to have Xbox version of games. They will be PC versions of games, and it will be on this Xbox hybrid console. But it won't have Xbox versions. It will be playing PC versions of games. That's what I think. The more and more I look at the rumors and what Xbox is saying, that's kind of what it's looking like. So I'm just going to go off of the premise that there won't be Xbox versions of games. It'll be PlayStation versions, Nintendo Switch 2 versions, and PC versions of games. So if you think of that in terms of exclusivity, you'll have Nintendo Switch 2, and Nintendo's going to keep making exclusive games. That's one thing that seems I can say pretty confidently. That'll be the one console that continues to make full exclusives, like true full exclusives. And in terms of Xbox, Well, they'll be making PC versions of games. Xbox Studios will be making their games, and they will be putting those games on PC and PS5 and probably Switch also, if the game can run well on the Switch too. If the game can run well on Switch 2, they will put it over there. I don't know if every Xbox game will be on Switch 2, but I think a lot of them will be. But the big question in terms of exclusivity going forward is actually now on PlayStation. Because when you get to the PS6 generation, the question's going to be asked, when Sucker Punch, Santa Monica, Insomniac, and Naughty Dog all make their games, what are you making your games for? What system are you making your games? In my opinion, I don't think things will change that much. I could be wrong. I think what's going to happen is those studios, those PlayStation studios, will continue to build for PlayStation first. So they're going to build a PlayStation version of the game, and they're going to release it. And then Nixxes will come along, another PlayStation studio, and they will port that game to PC and potentially Switch, depending on what it is. In terms of the single-player games. So, in terms of single-player games, I think PlayStation will still have timed exclusives for PlayStation first, and full console exclusives, meaning only ever on the PlayStation console. They'll still go to PC, but a lot of them I think will never go to Switch too. Because you got to think of it, going forward, that will be the only two consoles remaining, is PlayStation and Switch. Because Xbox will now be a PC. So that's where it becomes weird. So it seems like going forward, PlayStation first-party studio single-player games will all be timed exclusives for PlayStation, and they get ported to PC later on and possibly Switch, depending on the game. Live service games, on the other hand, will still be ported day and date on PC, I believe. So, and that's kind of what's already happening. That's kind of what's already happening, and I think that will continue for the most part. The thing is now, this new Xbox will be a PC, so Xbox players, if they go buy this new PC hybrid, will be getting PlayStation games. They'll be getting them, a year or two later, but they will now be getting PlayStation games, technically, if you own an Xbox. But in reality, it'll kind of be the same situation. Unless PlayStation decides we're going to just port everything day and date. I don't think that will happen, at least not anytime soon, but it's definitely now a bigger possibility than it ever was, that's for sure. But really, in the grand scheme of things, who cares about that? Like, I'm a big PlayStation gamer. I have been my whole life. I love the exclusive games. There's something special about playing a PlayStation exclusive, something that's built for the PlayStation, and it runs great and it plays great and it's just an amazing game. It's just something special about the PlayStation exclusive. But in reality, what is important? The important thing is the quality of the game. So if PlayStation continues to make great quality single player games, then I really can't complain if they decide to port that over to Switch and PC and Xbox or whatever they port it to. In reality, it might lose a little bit of that special sauce of being exclusive, but if the games remain great, I can't complain. So that's really what it comes down to. At the end of the day, keep making great quality games and we're all good. I won't be able to complain about that, in all honesty. And if it helps the industry, if it makes them more money and it makes them put more money back into the studios and back into making great games, then it is what it is. I'll be happy with it. And, we'll all get over losing some sort of exclusivity. But if the games are great, we'll be happy. But I don't think they're going to fully get rid of exclusivity like a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are going overboard and thinking like exclusives are done forever. I don't think so. Nintendo's going to keep making exclusives. PlayStation is going to keep doing some exclusivity. it'll just be more varied. It'll be more nuanced now. It's not going to be just full exclusives all the time like it used to be. Which could be great in the end of the day. It could turn out great. And the reason I bring up the quality is because a lot of the times when you build for one system, it just really helps the developers like lock in on that system and make the most quality game you can make. So that's why I'm talking about quality and exclusivity. That's one big positive of exclusivity is you can build for that one system. And I actually think PlayStation at least will continue to do that. They'll continue to build for the PlayStation first, and then later on, Nixie's or other, studios will port that over to PC. That's probably the best way of doing it because it keeps the quality of the game, and that's what will be most important. But we'll see what happens. The industry is definitely shifting a bit, and as you've seen from my other videos, I don't trust these corporations. So I am cautious. I'm very cautious to see what happens over the next few years with the gaming industry. Because there's a lot of shifting parts right now, a lot of crap going on, a lot of AI, BS, and layoffs and other stuff. Getting rid of exclusivity might help with that. Who knows? But we will see what happens. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will be back soon with more videos. See you later.